Hey barbecue family, Kenyatta here. Welcome back to the Backyard SmokeMaster Barbecue channel. I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy during these extraordinary times. Today I'm going to be cooking on my PK360 and I'm going to try out a new product that I got this week. One of my subscribers, Wayne, saw me cooking on my PK360 in my last video and noticed that I was using a charcoal basket that came with my PK, and that's this basket right here. And he commented that Kick Ash makes a charcoal basket for use with both the PK original and the PK360, and he thought I would probably get better airflow and I should check it out. So that's exactly what I did. I have a Kick-Ass basket for my Kamado Joe that I've been using for a couple of years, and I absolutely love how it works. So this was kind of a no-brainer for me when I realized that they make this product that works with the PK360 as well. So the basket from Kick Ash here is designed really to maximize airflow. So one of the things that I like right away about the design of this basket, in addition to, the maximum airflow that you can get, coming from all directions, top, bottom, is that it also comes with a divider. So I can move this around and set it up for 2-zone cooking and, really just have as much or as little charcoal as I want. I mean, this is the ultimate in flexibility. So in comparison, this charcoal basket that I got as an additional accessory from PK, it also works well, but it's got holes at the bottom, but no holes on the sides. There's a little bit of air can come in here where the handles are on the front and the back. But I just think the design is a little more restrictive than the design of the Kick Ash. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to leave the charcoal grate that came with my PK. I'm going to leave it in place at the bottom. I'm just going to set the Kick Ash basket right on top. So I'm going to have my charcoal off to the right side. I might adjust the placement of the divider once I start putting the charcoal in there. But basically I want to have 2-zone cooking today. I'm going to do a beef pot roast. Most people usually use chuck roast, but I've got some top round steak that I want to use, see how that works. And so I'm going to start off by smoking the steak, try and keep my temperature around between 225, 250, get some good smoke on it. And then after it reaches my desired temperature, about 140, at that point, I'm going to cut it up, add the veggies and all the other good stuff for this pot roast, and get that on the smoker as well. All right, so the guys over at Kick Ash include a little note here about best practices, and it says always add charcoal to the top of the Kick Ash basket so that there is plenty of lump for your cook, whether you are high temp grilling or going low and slow. Fill to the top of the basket or even above the handles. Light the charcoal from the top of the pile. If you are going low and slow, start a small spot toward the front of the top of the pile, and the fire will burn toward the back. And that's pretty much the process that I use with my with the basket that I have in my Kamado Joe. So we're going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to put a wax cube here at the top, and at the top and at the front of the basket. All right, so we're just gonna let that burn. So while these coals get hot, I'm gonna go in the house and get some salt and pepper on my top round steak. And then once these coals are nice and hot, we're gonna go ahead and get this started. All right, guys, the PK360 has come up to temperature. I seasoned these steaks with just salt and pepper, and the salt has had time to kind of pull out some of that moisture. So we're ready to get this going. So again, we're just gonna smoke these and looking to get them up to around 140 degrees. So I think it might take like maybe around 2 hours or so to get them to where I want to be, and then I'll pull them off, cut them up, and then, you know, basically get the whole beef pot roast going. All right, guys, we're just going to do a quick pulse check. It's been about 1 hour for these steaks on the smoker. Before I turned the camera on, I actually rotated the position. So, for instance, this steak that I'm checking was further away from the coals, and it's currently at about 131 internal. This steak is about 128. This one's a lot thicker than the other one here. But basically what I'm trying to do is to just even out the cooking so that hopefully they'll hit around 140 at about the same time. So that one's at 130. Ooh, getting a little hot there. This one's at 127. So I just moved them around. I'm gonna get this closed back up, let it go, probably check on them again in about maybe 15 to 20 minutes, see if we're at 140 to move to the next step. Everything's working well with the kick-ass basket. So, you know, and not to say that you absolutely need this accessory. Obviously, you know, the PK cooks outstanding as is. You know, I'm just for anything that helps make the process of managing your temperatures a little easier. So, so far I like what I see, and you know, I think it's a good addition to have to help with that overall process. All right, guys, so my steaks hit my desired temperature, so I've already taken them off of the PK. So my next step here, I've added a couple of tablespoons of oil, vegetable oil, and basically I just want to start to increase the temperature inside of the PK. There we go. Wanted to make sure it was gonna actually fit. And I think the issue again is this thermometer here. You know, when you close it, I think it was hitting the side of my pot. So again, what I'm trying to do now is I'm gonna increase the temperature inside the PK. I want to get it up to around 350 degrees. Once it gets up to that temperature, I've got some onions that I've cut up. I'm going to saute the onions out here, and I'm also going to cut up the meat. I've already cut up some other ingredients that are going to go into this this beef pot roast. So I'm just going to take care of a few things while, again, this temperature inside the PK comes up. All right, guys, so here's where we are. We've got the temperature inside of the PK. It's almost up to 350. I think it was about 340 when I last took a look at it. So it's hot enough now for me to get these onions. And I've also got some mushroom. We're gonna get on here and saute. Now we could do this part in the house. I know, like Harry Sue would say, you know, do whatever you can in your oven or on your stove top, you know, whatever is more efficient and cost savings and all that. But what's the fun in that, right? We're gonna cook outside today. I'm gonna try to do this entire beef pot roast on my PK 360. Alright, so I'm just going to saute these onions and mushrooms until they get tender, and then we'll be ready for the next step. Alright, family, these onions and mushrooms are pretty tender, so I'm going to go ahead and add some more things here to my pot roast. Alright, so we've got some beef broth. We've got some onion soup mix. And we've got some mushroom soup. Give that a good stir. Alright, we're going to let this simmer on the pot here for a little bit. Come back a little bit later with some more ingredients. All right, guys, so we're gonna go ahead and get the steak that I chopped up. We're gonna get this in here. So since I've been opening and closing the PK, the temp has dropped to about 250, but it shouldn't take long for it to recover. So I got a lot of steak in here. So the goal now is basically to let the heat do its thing along with these other ingredients, trying to get this beef to be really tender. This will probably take about 2.5 hours, assuming I get the temperature of the PK back between 325, 375. And then at that point, we'll add the final ingredients. I've got some potatoes that I've already cut up, as well as some carrots that we'll add to this pot roast. So really the last question is whether or not I can put the lid on my Dutch oven and be able to close the PK. The only concern I have again is right up here. You can see that that's where the built-in thermometer, you know, that probe sticks out, and whether or not there's going to be enough clearance in order to make that work. I'm not sure that that's going to work, and even if it doesn't, it's not a big deal, but that's really the only question. So let's see what happens. So obviously it will cook faster with the lid on. Whoa, and it worked. You know, actually I didn't think that it would, but no issue. I've got it positioned just right, so there was enough clearance. So that's pretty cool. Another win for the PK360. All right, barbecue family, so it's been about 2.5 hours. I gotta say, man, this beef pot roast smells great. So there's a look at what we got. All right, we got some potatoes. We got some carrots. All right, guys, I'm also gonna rotate the pot. Make sure we try to get some fairly even cooking going on, but I'm also stirring it up, so there's that. All right, so in here I've got a couple of bay leaves and then also some garlic powder and onion powder. So we've got some water, about a cup of water, and half a cup of red wine. So we're gonna let all these ingredients combine together, let it go for about another 1.5 hours, and then hopefully this beef pot roast will be ready to plate up. All right, guys, so it's been between 1 and 1.5 hours since I last checked on this beef pot roast. So I want to see what we got here. Oh yeah, I mean, it smells amazing and it looks good too. All right, guys, I'm trying to be patient because this is really hot. You can still see that steam coming off. All right, hopefully this is cool enough that I won't burn my mouth. Yeah, guys, this is it. It's ready to come off the smoker. Everything is perfectly tender, good flavor. May need to add a little bit of salt, but I'm happy with this. So I did have to refuel, add a little bit more fuel there a couple of times. Probably could have avoided that if I had just put more charcoal, you know, in the basket. But I tried to keep it like a 2-zone cook throughout, so I was okay with having to periodically add more fuel. This is Kenyatta Robinson signing off. Thanks again for joining me on my Backyard SmokeMaster Barbecue channel. Again, please subscribe if you like what you see here. Leave comments. I appreciate the support. We'll see you in the next one. All right, I gotta get a little bit more of this, guys. Nice, hearty. Yeah, look at that.